Today we're going to be talking about 10 words that are commonly mispronounced. That's 10 words that people say the wrong way very often. And I've noticed that a lot of learners of English mispronounce these words, but also sometimes native speakers mispronounce these words too, and that makes it even more confusing. Hey everybody, Christopher here from chrisamericos.com, and a special thanks to everyone in the English Everyday community. But before we jump in, I have to say that we need to understand what it means to be correct or incorrect. This is not really about being fluent, it's just about your accuracy in speaking the language. So when native speakers are just speaking and not thinking about how they speak, a lot of times they will make mistakes. They will say things that do not follow the standard rules of English. And so some of the examples I'm going to give you in this video will show you that native speakers sometimes mispronounce these words too. And stay till the end because the last word might surprise you and you might think nobody could mispronounce that word, but a lot of people do. So stay until the end. And right now, make sure you click subscribe so you see more videos like this. Let's jump in. The first word that so many people mispronounce is a month of the year. It's the second month of the year. It's February.
February.
Now, this word isn't really so confusing because you just pronounce all of the letters that are in the word. But the thing is that some native speakers forget or don't know that there is an R in this word. And they will misspell this word and they'll mispronounce this word. I've heard many native speakers say February instead of February. And when they write it, they might forget that there's an R and write it without the R.
February.
So that's why this word is very commonly confused or mispronounced or misspelled, and it makes it hard for people who are learning English.
February
16th.
The second word that so many people mispronounce is this time when you don't have rain. The time period when you don't have rain is called a drought.
No, drought! Drought!
But you can see from how this word is spelled that there's a G and an H, and we don't pronounce them, right? Crazy English. Why don't you pronounce those letters? Well, that's how we say it, drought. So if you pronounce the G and the H, then it's going to sound very strange, and people might not understand you.
During a drought.
All right, our next word is a type of food. It's something that you can eat. And honestly, I didn't know about this word for a long time. I had never eaten this kind of food before. And the first time that I saw it, I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. And I heard how other people pronounced it. And now I'm going to tell you. So this is quinoa.
I mean, what's this? Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Quinoa. And it's confusing because Q usually has a U after it. Usually makes the sound qu, like in question, right? But here it doesn't have a U. And it sounds like k, like a K. And also, usually English words that end with OA are pronounced OA at the end, not WA. So this word is quinoa, but we have the word boa, which is a type of snake, which is BOA, boa, not boa. And we have a city in India, Goa, not Goa. So this word is pronounced a little differently, and that makes it confusing. This word is quinoa.
Get your quinoa.
So now we're on our fourth word that is commonly mispronounced. And this word describes a place outside of the city, an area of land where there are farms. And it's not a city. In a city, we use the word urban to talk about things in the city or things that are made for or designed for the city. But when we talk about things that are made for and designed for farm areas and agricultural areas, we call that area a rural area.
Rural. Rural.
Now, this word is difficult for many people to pronounce because of the R sound. And we have that sound twice in this word. So we have rural at the beginning and in the middle. Say it with me. rural. I noticed that a lot of people couldn't pronounce this word when I was teaching lessons and we had the question, do you prefer urban areas or rural areas? You can answer that question right now too. Go to the comments and write your answer to that question. Do you prefer urban areas or rural areas? And that basically means, do you like living in the city or do you like living outside of the city? I personally prefer living in an urban area, not a rural area.
Of rural America.
Okay, word number 5 that is commonly mispronounced is a type of behavior. It's when a child is doing something that they shouldn't do, or being naughty, or not following the rules, or teasing their brother or sister. Can you tell I have kids? This word is mischievous.
Mischievous.
Mischievous. But you'll hear some native speakers pronounce it a little differently. In fact, growing up, I heard this word pronounced differently, and I didn't learn that the correct pronunciation was mischievous until later in my life. So when I was a child, I didn't say mischievous, I said mischievous. He's a mischievous child. But later I learned that the correct way to pronounce it is mischievous. He's a mischievous child. So you might hear people say mischievous or mischievous, and that can be confusing.
They're just being mischievous.
Mischievous and deceitful.
Our next word that is commonly mispronounced is a feeling that you have in your body. It's when you feel like you're gonna be sick, but you're not quite there yet. This word is nauseous.
Nauseous.
Now, this word is confusing because when you see it written, there are a lot of vowels and letters together that you don't know. They could make different sounds, right? And the letter S usually makes the S sound before the letter E, not the sound sh. So this word is a little confusing, and again, it's pronounced nauseous. For example, she felt nauseous and she had to leave the room.
Nauseous. I'm physically nauseous.
The next word that many people mispronounce describes how tall you are. So you can ask someone, how tall are you? Or you can ask, what is your height?
My height?
Yes, this word is pronounced height, and sometimes it's confusing because people who are learning English might pronounce it like hate. But hate is a different word. We don't hate here, we only love. And nobody wants to know about your hate. They're more interested in your height. So again, you can ask someone, how tall are you? Or you can ask someone, what is your height?
Such as height, strength, attractiveness.
Our 8th word that is very commonly mispronounced is a weapon. It's something that you can cut with, and a knight or a samurai might have this. It's a sword. That's right, we don't pronounce W in this word. A sword. But many of my students make the mistake of pronouncing this word like sword, including the sound of the W. You shouldn't do that. This W is silent. We don't say it. So this word is sword.
Sword.
The 9th word that many people mispronounce is a word about not having money. Well, actually, this is when you owe money to someone else. We can say he owes money, or we can say he is in debt.
The enormous debt.
Yes, it's pronounced debt. We don't say the B in this word. And that's the mistake here. A lot of learners of English will say debt, and we don't pronounce B. You don't say that. People usually won't understand that. So instead, you need to say debt. The B is silent. And I hope you never find yourself in debt.
Credit card debt. Credit card debt.
And now our last word that's commonly mispronounced. You might be surprised by this because it's a very small word. I think it's a very simple word, but I hear so many people make mistakes with this word. And the word is suit.
An Armani suit?
Take the suit.
It's something that usually men wear to look nice, to go to a formal event. It's a suit. So yeah, the I doesn't really get pronounced in this word. The U is long, suit. And sometimes people mix this word up with a special room in a hotel. That special room in a hotel is called a suite. It has an E at the end of the word, and it's also very confusing, and many people mispronounce it. And that's suite, not suit. A suit is something that men wear. A suite is a special room in a hotel.
I'm not wearing a suit.
Lesson 2, get a suit.
Now I hope you understand how to pronounce these 10 words so you don't make the funny mistakes that I've made and my students have made. I really hope this lesson helps you improve your pronunciation. And if you really want to improve your pronunciation, what you need to do is practice speaking with real people. And guess what? You can do that. Under this video, there's a link to our English Everyday community. And when you join that community, you get to practice speaking English 4 or 5, as many times every day as you want, with real people from around the world and native teachers who correct your mistakes. So if you really want to improve your pronunciation, that is the best way to do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.